Why hello there and welcome to this video. Today we are going to be talking about the fact that Trump, the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, wants to weaponize the FBI in the most wealthy nation in the world to target me. To target me. Yes, me. But not just me. Other people as well. And unfortunately, it's trans people. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Don't Tread on Me flag here. And certainly everyone in the past who is a conservative who has preached this "don't tread on me" thing, right? Like they're gonna stand with me, right? Like they're gonna want the government to leave me the fuck alone, and right, like this government overreach and these people who are like trying to abuse power to hurt the common working person or whatever. Like I think I remember a lot of discussion happening about that on the right. But for some reason, when it happens to trans people, when the government overreaches and labels us as domestic terrorists, all of a sudden they go quiet. They go silent. They just like, oh, maybe that government overreach is actually kind of good or something. And it's almost like they're hypocrites. It's almost like they have no principles. It's almost like they only care when it benefits them. It hurts other people. So we're going to be talking about that today. What exactly am I talking about? Well, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so here we are, and the article we are reading is this. It's from The Advocate. Trump's new budget turns the FBI into the gender police. The plan casts opposition to traditional values as terrorism and raises fear of political targeting. So here is this lunatic piece of shit, Kash Patel, imaged here. And with the wacky eyes, as always. He actually looks like he's coming down in this picture, so he's probably about 30 seconds away from hitting a fresh bump so that he can fly back up into the sky. But we're going to read a little bit of this article and talk about this. A new budget proposal from the Trump administration seeks to increase federal counterterrorism funding, targeting what it describes as domestic terrorism, including a focus on gender extremism. President Donald Trump submitted a fiscal year 2027 budget request to Congress earlier this month, seeking a $166 million increase for the Federal Bureau of Investigation's counterterrorism efforts. The proposal pairs that funding increase with language urging federal authorities to scrutinize ideological movements the administration casts as a threat to national security. And as you remember, I'm not only a threat to national security, I'm a threat to cosmic security. Like, I'm a threat to the entire cosmos. I have gathered the Infinity Stones. I'm prepared to snap my finger, and I will do it. So the proposal claims that the anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, and anti-Christianity constitutes emerging national security concerns. It includes domestic terrorists who practice extremism on migration, race, and gender, and who oppose traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. So, welcome to the Christian nationalist white ethno-state. Welcome, everybody, because it is now it is now basically terrorism to want to live any differently than the traditional American Christian conservative values. So yeah, if you stray even from a little bit, like even if you're straight, even if you're white, if you're an atheist, I'm so sorry. You're betraying American values. We got to throw you in the meat blender. You got to die for Israel. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. We live in a world where these people control everything, so that is just the way it is. Under the proposal, addressing those categories would become a stated priority for FBI counterterrorism spending. So, oh boy, I bet my job's going to get a lot more fun from here. The budget also calls for creating a new federal hub to address political violence in America, which it positions as focused in part on leftist ideology, according to the Washington Blade. That center, referred to as the SPM-7 Joint Mission Center, wow, sounds like an action movie title, right? Follows a directive issued by the Trump administration last year to prioritize investigations into perceived political threats from the left, as previously reported by independent journalist Ken Klippenstein. Civil liberties advocates have warned that the approach risks conflating political dissent with national security threats. Several public interest groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union, have raised concerns that the policy could target Americans based on their beliefs. What? Wait, you're telling me that, like, people believing things other than what conservatives believe is, like, what? It's like almost like we live in a country that's supposed to have freedom? What's the word? Is that the word? Is the word freedom? I think that's the word, right? Like, we're supposed to have this thing where we can go around and, like, you can have your own beliefs and you can live your own life and you can, you know, say the things that you want to say within reason as long as you're not hurting anyone, right? And you can do all that stuff in this country. What is it called? Called like Smishmerica or something like that. I don't think it really exists. I think this is like a fake country we're talking about, actually. The SPM-7 is a deliberate attempt to sow fear and intimidate and silence opposition to the president's abuses. Hina Shamsi, director of the American Civil Liberties Union National Security Project, wrote in October 2025. The proposal now moves to Congress, where lawmakers will negotiate spending levels ahead of the federal budget deadline of October 1st. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit here. Clearly, this is bad, right? This is just bad. Like, it doesn't matter if you're trans or not trans or whatever, it does not matter. Like, I think most sane people would read this and be like, holy shit, this is really bad. This is really bad. It's almost like they are deputizing, the FBI to go against political dissidents and consider them to be terrorists. And yeah, it's like, it's not great. Like, it's definitely not great. I do not appreciate that at all. And like literally, I think the only people that can think that this is possibly okay or good are like the religious fundamentalists who already believe that everyone should be a Christian, everyone should be living American traditional conservative values and stuff like that. Like, that is the person who's like, fuck yeah, let's go after these people or whatever. But like, no one else wants this. No one else wants this. And do we want the FBI to, well, let me just go through my points real quick here. First of all, first point, already sort of said it before. Grab me my don't tread on me sign, right? Like, let's talk about the fact that pretty much everyone on the right wing says that they're pro free speech. They say that, like, free speech is legal again. Oh, wow. Is it really? Is it really? Because it kind of seems like if I say something the government disagrees with, they're going to, like, personally come to my house and, like, try to, like, arrest me or, like, put me on a list or, like, do something like that, investigate me for things that I'm not doing. So I just, like, all of these people are going to be dead quiet, right? Like, all of these conservatives are going to be silent. They don't care. They don't have principles. They, like, genuinely, as long as they are winning against the people that they hate, that is all they care about. And so, like, even though this stuff could come back to them, like, let's be clear. Do you think people that support this initiative are perfect traditional American with traditional views on family, religion, and morality? No. No. Like, let's say you're a MAGA conservative, but you adopted your children. Do you think they like that? Is that conservative, traditional American values? I don't think it is. I think you're supposed to have your own damn kids, right? Like, according to them. Like, you're not supposed to do that adoption shit. I also, like, wonder about people that may be MAGA conservatives, but might be gay. Or they might have a non-traditional family structure. Or they might not be Christian. Or whatever. And this last little statement, traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. What the fuck does that mean? Traditional American views on family, religion, and morality. Like, you're literally saying out loud that you are policing you're policing morality. Like it is terrorism to have a different moral structure than the traditional American views on morality, which, like, what does that mean? Like, I think a lot of people would kind of actually say that traditional American values include, like, slavery, because a lot of conservative Americans are kind of, like, pro-slavery and pro, like, a lot of other horrible things. So if you're not pro-slavery, I guess you're a terrorist now, unfortunately. But that's just one of the things I wanted to point out first, is that There's so much hypocrisy. There's no principles for the people on the right. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care at all. As long as they're winning against the people they hate, that's all they care about. They don't have principles. They don't want the world to get better. They don't want anyone to get better. They don't want anything to get better. They just want people that they hate to suffer, and that's all they care about. But I just think it's funny because a lot of people on the right could get swept up in this, and they don't seem to think about that. They don't seem to think about the fact that they might, like, if you're a meth addicted MAGA idiot, you may not be the perfect example of American traditional values that they're looking for. So you might end up on the shit end of that stick as well. Because guess what? The entire stick is covered in shit. Next point. They want me to give up. That is the point of this. The point of this is entirely to just scare me and make me feel like my life is over, to make me feel like I have no hope, and to make me feel like this is the end of everything for me. And because, like, this is not going to hold up in court. Like, they could try to come after me for, like, gender extremism or some shit like this, but that shit would shoot right up to the Supreme Court. And, like, clearly this is just freedom of speech. This is me just saying my opinions and saying what I believe. And there's nothing about that is like, there's nothing about what I'm doing that in a court of law is going to hold up and make me seem like a terrorist. That is fucking ridiculous. I do not advocate for violence. I do not advocate for terrorism. Like, it's just so brain dead stupid. It's so stupid. So, like, the whole point of this is to scare me into quitting, right? Like, there's not actually any enforcement mechanism for this. Like, they might send someone out to, like, interrogate me or some shit, but, like, let's be real here. There's almost nothing that they can actually do to stop me from just talking on a fucking camera on YouTube, right? So, like, the point is the fear. They want people to see this. They want people like me to see this and be like, holy shit, I need to go hide. I need to run. I need to hide. And that's just the unfortunate reality of it. Kenzie says, hey, I don't know if you've seen the law or order passed in Ohio passed, or at least I think they did, for makeup and more. I know it passed the House. I have not seen whether it passed the Senate. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about the drag ban in Ohio, which is essentially a ban on queer performers. Like, if you're gender nonconforming at all, it doesn't matter if you're in drag, it doesn't matter if you're trans, it doesn't matter if you're cis. If you're like a dude who wears like black nail polish or something at a metal show, like, they're gonna come for you. They're gonna fucking arrest you. They're gonna make you regret the day that you ever lived. So I have not heard if that passed the Senate. I will check that out after I finish recording this video. I did see that it passed the House, but I will check in on that after the video. Thank you for the nudge on that. And then the last point that I wanted to make here is quite simply that they want to scapegoat the trans community. But it's like super clear to literally everybody, like, who the real problems are. Like, the people that the FBI should be going after are all of these Epstein people, right? Like, you have the FBI basically run by Mr. Epstein, the king of pedophiles, right, is running our government right now. And it's almost like the FBI is being distracted from the job that they should be doing by giving them a job that doesn't matter and is essentially busy work and stuff that will never amount to anything. But yeah, like, I think pretty much everybody agrees that the trans community is a scapegoat, because the real pedophiles, the real criminals, the real people that the FBI should be going after are the people are the people in the White House right now. Like, those are the people that should be behind bars, that should be locked up, throw away the key kind of shit, because they have hurt real people. They have committed, like, atrocities at levels that the world does not understand yet. And I think that, frankly, it is it's ridiculous. Like, I think most people, again, if they see this, they're like, what the fuck is the point of this? You know, like, this is not, there's no way to spin this. There's no way to just be like, oh, you know, it's maybe it's good, actually, that they passed the everyone who disagrees with me is a terrorist bill or whatever, or budget. You know what I mean? So, like, I think this is pretty clear cut, right? Pretty fucking clear cut, right? And then we're gonna move on to this next thing here. I just wanted to talk about this real quick. Tennessee passes bill that will make a public list of trans people. House Bill 754 forces doctors to hand trans people's individually identifiable medical information over to the state and then release it to the public. Yay! It's the most dangerous anti-trans bill yet. So today, the Tennessee Senate voted 24-7, with one Republican joining Democrats in opposition, to pass anti-trans House Bill 754. The bill now heads back to the Tennessee House for a quick concurrence vote after it originally passed that chamber 3 weeks ago. From there, it'll head to Governor Bill Lee's desk, where, given his track record, it'll almost certainly be signed into law. As transgender As Transcitics reported in mid-March, it's disguised as a bill that aims to mandate insurance companies to cover gender-affirming care to also cover care for detransitioners. This idea, one which Republicans have already passed in Texas and Utah, has the effect of raising trans people's insurance costs, and this is something the bill's main sponsor, Jeremy Fison, explicitly acknowledged last month. However, unlike the other detransition insurance bills, HB 754 will also create what Fison calls a right to public transparency surrounding gender-affirming care, which mandates that providers report statistics regarding all gender transition procedures to the Tennessee Department of Health. And the data being demanded is highly specific. Aside from the person's age, biological sex, procedure information, providers would also be forced to report a person's state of residence, the date on which a patient received a transition procedure, a complete list of any diagnoses that a trans person has received of neurological, behavioral, or mental health conditions. On top of this, doctors will also have to submit their own names and contact information. A last-minute amendment proposed by the bill's Senate sponsor, Brent Taylor, removed the county reporting requirement that was present in the original bill. So, this is horrific. This is like literally, let's create a public registry where you can see the names, you can find out all about the trans people. Like, this is really bad. We have HIPAA, like, which is not a perfect thing, right? But like, we have the idea of HIPAA where like your medical information is supposed to be incredibly sensitive and private to you. And then we're looking at a population of people, trans people, and we're saying, oh, actually, I'm sorry. You specifically don't deserve human rights. Like, everyone else deserves rights. Everyone else deserves privacy of like medical information, all that stuff. It's just kind of like a right for humans, but because you're trans, you actually don't get those rights. You don't get it. Sorry, no rights for you. Rights for me, no rights for you. Well, not rights for me, obviously. I'm speaking as if I'm the person who's getting these theoretical rights, right? But this pisses me off because this is some bullshit that like people are constantly are talking to me in my comments about. Like, I get people all the time who's like, name one right you don't have as a trans person in America. They're like, what do you even do? Like, what even, you know, like they do this shit where they act like there's nothing wrong and nothing happening and nothing bad happening. And then they go and they pass shit like this, where it's like the make trans people a second-class citizen bill or whatever, or like the trans people don't deserve human rights bill. You know what I mean? And then people come into my comment section and they're like, what rights do you not have? Huh? We're all the same. And it's like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna crash out on these people. So yeah, that is what we are talking about today. We are talking about some horrific shit, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you all that there are even more bills that I do not have the it's not the courage or whatever. It's just like there is so much bad shit happening right now. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. I can't talk about all of it because it would just be too much. And I frankly, like, I think it's important for you all to be aware that this kind of shit is happening. But I don't think that it's important for me to cover literally every terrible thing that happens, because I think that, like, if you care about the trans rights in your state, you should be following that shit. You should be like on Substack. You should be following people like Aaron in the Morning. You should be following people like whoever wrote this article, Alexandra Vaca, who I'm not like super familiar with, but you should be subscribed to people who are transitics. That's what they're called. Okay, sorry. But you're going to need to be like up to date about this shit. And I'm sorry, like, I'm not the person to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't think that would be good for my community. I don't think it would be good for the channel. I don't think it would be good for our for anything, for me to just hyperfixate on every story of every bad thing that's happening in all across the United States, because I would be making hundreds of videos a year, and it would be very doomer pilled, and it would definitely not help anyone with the mental health crisis that we are currently suffering as a trans community, due to the fact of these unprecedented attacks in America. But all of this is basically just to say that, like, if I go missing, if something happens to me and I just don't come back or whatever, then fucking know that like, I want to be here. I am not suicidal. I do not want to end my life. I do not want to stop doing this job. I want to keep advocating for trans rights. And pretty much the only way they're going to be able to stop me is if they, like, actually come after me and, like, arrest me or some shit. But it kind of sounds like that's what they want to do. It kind of sounds like that's what they would like to happen. And unfortunately, I think that, like, they are getting scarily close to achieving that. Now, again, I do think that the mechanisms of enforcement are probably not very strong here, and that this is more of a virtue signal. This is more of like a, we want to just scare the absolute living shit out of every trans YouTuber and every trans advocate and every trans whatever, so that we all quit and run away and hide and shit. But, like, frankly, like, I'm not scared. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm embodying the spirit of American uh freedom, and like I am living the American dream, in the sense that, like, I am living a life of the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness for myself as a trans person, right? The right to live my life as my authentic self in a free country where I'm allowed to be myself. And they are trying to make that impossible because they don't want a free country. Like, Republicans, conservatives, they don't want a free country. They want an authoritarian country, and they have made that very clear. The second Trump administration has made that very clear. They talk about freedom, and then they go and they create concentration camps, and they lock up immigrants, and they treat them like animals, and they suffer these human right abuses under the hands of these horrific people. And then, like, there's the genocide and the Palestinians. I think there's so many reasons that it's clear that the Republicans are psychopathic. And now, are the Democrats better? Not really. They are also psychopathic. They are just psychopathic in a different way, a less overtly terrible way. But they are still terrible. They still won't do anything to solve this. They won't fight back. They won't argue against this shit. They won't make a stand. They won't create waves. They won't do anything about this, because the Democrats have been told by their consultants and their advisors that trans people are worth throwing in the meat blender for the sake of capitalism, and that we don't deserve to have the backing of a party because it's maybe a little uncomfortable for them to argue for us and argue on our side. So yeah, I kind of not good. Kind of not good, right? But again, this is just another reason that we can point out, like, clearly this is more than just like, this is like literally targeting a population of people is what this is. And, like, something needs to be done about this. We need a leader who's going to make it impossible for this kind of shit to happen in the future. What does that entail? Fuck if I know. But, like, all I know is that if we accept that it's impossible to save ourselves, it will be impossible to save ourselves. But if we accept that we may have to break a few eggs or some shit, we may have to, like, cross a few boundaries to get done what we need to get done to save the lives of trans children across the country, I think it's worth it, right? Like, if we were to break decorum and sort of, like, bend the rules or whatever for the sake of protecting people, I think that would probably be a worthwhile use of quote unquote abuses of power, right? If the right wing, like, that's the thing, the right wingers will go like, let's institute fascism and do all of these things that are, like, unconstitutional and illegal and impossible. And, like, they don't let the fact that it's unconstitutional, illegal, or impossible stop them from trying to do it. You know what I mean? Like, the Republicans have an ideal about, like, destroying this fucking country and turning it into this capitalistic hellscape. And, like, it doesn't matter if it's illegal. It doesn't matter if it's unconstitutional. It doesn't matter if it's human right abuses. They don't care. They just want They just want to achieve their goals. And so they'll stop at nothing. And Trump has made that very clear. Like, that's the kind of president he has been, is someone who will destroy everything to achieve the goal that he wants to achieve. And like, frankly, we need that kind of audacity on the left. We need people on the left to have the audacity to say, like, it doesn't fucking matter if the parliamentarian is going to say no to some dramatically useful, helpful thing to the American people. It doesn't matter if there's some red tape. It doesn't matter if there's some people standing in the way. We need to like start viewing those as roadblocks we can get past in order to achieve things to make life better for people. We can't keep doing this shit where it's like, oh, I would really like to protect the rights of trans people, but unfortunately, there's no mechanism right now. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. The Republicans won. Sorry, you just have to die. I'm so sorry. Like, we can't keep doing this shit. We can't. They will stop at nothing to take our rights away. So we need to stop at nothing to protect our rights. And no, I'm not advocating for terrorism, in case someone wants to take this out of fucking context. I am not advocating for terrorism. Even though I guess technically me living my life is terrorism now, I guess. So, yep, this is a really horrible thing. A really horrible thing. An idiotic transphobe who has commented hundreds of times on my channel, someone who is a loser and has no life, just commented in chat and says, "You haven't lost any rights." And to that, I would say, read this fucking article, you dumb piece of shit, because this article clearly states that we are literally having our rights stripped away. And if you don't acknowledge that, you are fucking pathetic, because you are literally denying reality, and you're delusional, and you're psychopathic. So I just wanted to make that very crystal clear. Anyway, I think I'm just going to try to keep this video rather short and snappy for the algorithm, so that the algorithm likes it and goes, this is a watchable video. Look at me not making a 30-minute video. Actually, I have no idea how long I've been talking. It might very well have been 20 or 30 minutes. But the point is that I'm trying. I'm making an effort, okay? So don't at me about how long my videos are. I try my best, okay? Anyway, thank you all so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. All that stuff would help me out greatly. It would really, really be wonderful. Please support me. I am trying desperately to do everything I can to fight for our community, to make things better for us, to do what I can. But only by growing this platform can I make a difference. So by supporting either monetarily or non-monetarily, you can make a difference, and you can help, like, push forward my attempt at a civil rights, engagement here on YouTube. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm doing this as a full-time job right now, and eventually, if my channel does not grow fast enough, I will have to get a job, and then that will hinder my ability to be here and to make content. So I would definitely love to just keep making full-time content here on YouTube. It would mean a lot to me. I really do appreciate all the support I already get, all my channel members, all the Twitch subscribers, all the Patreon people. Thank you so fucking much. I genuinely cannot express how much I appreciate you in words, because it does not achieve the effect that I am trying to achieve. But just do know that it means a hell of a lot to me, and moving forward into the future, anyone who's supporting me right now, you are laying the groundwork for the future of my platform. Just could not be here without people supporting me. So thank you so very much. If you want to support me, their links are in the description of the video. You can find it. You can find my Discord. You can find all that wonderful stuff. And I recommend that you check that out. Definitely would appreciate anything that you're able to do, even if it's just word of mouth, even if it's just telling other people about my channel. Stuff like that is so helpful. It's so helpful. So please, anything, whatever. Follow me on Twitch, YouTube, stream on both. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my schedule. During the summer, I go to a lot of flow festivals. I'm a fire artist, a flow artist, or whatever. Craig Nymph, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. But I am quite busy during the summer, so it'll be a little more sporadic. But I will try to be here when I'm not at events as consistently as I can. Also, Anime Sidekick Gal, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships on YouTube. That is so amazing. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're the best. Thank you. And now I am going to do a Patreon shout out. You're going to see Patreon people popping up on the screen right now. These are people who are supporting the channel. They are my regular tier members, the people that are supporting. Super appreciate that. But now I would like to shout out my super supporters. These are the people that are doing the most. They are contributing to my channel in a way that I cannot I cannot possibly appreciate enough. Like genuinely my super supporters, you're amazing. Like thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. So we have Daniel Malloy, Art, Katie Starr, William the Conqueror, Mark Yablonsky, Gwen Vaughn, John Crane, Andrea Yohara, Kira, Sophie's Left Florida, Ultraviolet Vadu, Cassidy, Kate, Fiona Dobson, Cal Fiore, Trisha Pizafred, Katie Bug, Melanie Skelton, Sarah J. Buck, Nikki Notzel, and Sam Howard. Again, you're incredible. All of you are incredible. You're doing so much for me, and I hope that I make it worth it. I hope that my content is worth what you do for me because it's a lot and it really means a lot to me. So anyway, I appreciate all of you. Stay strong throughout this hard time. It's dark, right? Like this is dark shit, and I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to be in this position or in this in this spot, but it's where we're at, and we got to hold each other close. You got to find friends. You got to find love. You got to find support. You got to find community. You got to organize. You got to do what you can to survive through this difficult time. Just know that in a vague sort of non-parasocial way, I love all of you. I appreciate all of you, especially the people who engage and support and do all that stuff. It really means a lot to me. And with no further ado, I'm just going to wrap up by reminding you to do a very simple thing, which is to drink some water.